A working-class man, Victor is employed at an automobile factory. It isn't a particularly great job, but it pays well enough for him to support himself. One morning, Victor clocks into work and passes his best friend, Oliver, that was eating in the break room. They conversate, talking about a recent television show they'd often bond over. Oliver laughed while eating his meal as Victor headed off to man his station. Victor locks the door to the machine room where he's assigned to be for his 12-hour shift. Locking his station's door was very much against protocol, but he wanted to have a morning smoke without getting caught, something he'd done countless times before. Over the course of his sunrise cigarette and hours thereafter, Victor has issues with his machine. It locks up dozens of times, jerks and twists. He gets up out of his seat to open the door and call for maintenance. As he approaches, he can see the workers jumping and shouting from the other side of the door's window. He quickly unlocks the door, hoping no one saw him smoking on the job. "I must have locked it by mistake. That's my bad," he mouths off. The supervisor bolts past him, shoving Victor to the side. He pulls the emergency switch and halts the machine. "Oliver got pulled inside," he shouts, looking back at Victor. Victor steps around the corner, somehow thinking it was some kind of elaborate prank. He felt cold, now peering into the other room. It looked like a can of red paint had exploded. As his co-workers peer at him, his stomach begins to turn, noticing the thick layers of blood coating everyone's uniform. Tyreel's face was entirely red, his brown eyes peering out from the mask of gore. He turns to face the grotesque scene and began to heave when he spots gears clogged with mangled flesh. They tell him that Oliver had been cleaning the machine. When the machine was abruptly started, a couple of the workers tried running to the machine room to stop the horrific scene. Victor then realized that the twisting and jerking was the grinding of Oliver's body. His coworkers, soaked in the mystified flesh of Oliver, all went home for the day. Victor was terminated, and after authorities arrived, charged with negligent homicide. He put up his house and managed to get out on bail. His former colleagues all felt bad about the entire situation. They'd been a team for years and knew that Victor didn't mean to kill Oliver. They talked it over in the following days and decided to check up on Victor at his house. Mark and Tyrell knocked on Victor's door, but there was no answer. His car wasn't in the driveway either. Every time his coworkers would drive by, he was never spotted at home. Victor had no remaining family to contact and was never seen again. His body was discovered by authorities after he didn't show up for court, along with his car in the bottom of a lake. Some of his coworkers say that if you work the morning shift, you can always make out the slight scent of a cigarette lingering in the air as they start his machine. Victor's burden too heavy, knowing that the death of his best friend was on his hands, his spirit regularly occupying the old machine room for just one last cigarette.